And Kapha people, most problems relate to getting too much body mass, not enough movement, not enough good digestion then. No? Digestion needs mucus, but if too much mucus is there, then it cannot really function properly. And then with Vata, the main problem that comes when they are too much thinking, which is their thing. Vatas like to think and like to talk also, but mostly like to think and fantasize and have 100 plans in a day, And if they continue like that, and also then in life react more nervously and easily become nervous about their lives, then they will start having nerve problems and they will become more weak. Because if the nerves no longer work, then the main energy, the prana, which we will come to also, is not properly distributed in the body anymore. And then you become weak. And once you become weak, then you can have any kind of disease. So the Vatas actually have the most difficult body chemistry and should eat enough to a little bit counter their thin nature and also make sure that they move enough. And for them asana is very good because it keeps them in their body and not too much in the mind. Or rather, it takes them out of their mind into their body, and they become more aware of their body and of the needs of their body. I think if there's one body type which is the least aware of the needs of the body, it is the Vata type, because they are always talking to themselves in their head, having this inner dialogue. And this disturbance of Vata also easily leads to constipation. But constipation there also is put because it also works the other way around. Because constipation can simply be a matter of bad diet. So that also very much disturbs Vata. The gases that are being produced then in the intestines, because the food is not going out in the proper way and is starting to ferment or rot, let's say, and produce a lot of gases, is having a very, very bad impact on the whole body. Because then these gases will move into the blood. From the blood they will affect the nerves, and you can really become ill very fast. My teacher used to say constipation is the main cause of disease. It's a very, very important thing. And I like to ask a question actually, and it's a little bit like a personal question. So you don't really have to answer, but it would suit my curiosity to know, let me put it that way, maybe in a right fashion. Who here every day has normal bowel movements? Normal bowel movements means you are normally going to the toilet for the big package, You can raise your arm. Yeah. Well, a relatively healthy class, I would say. Very important to keep it that way. I mean, the same thing. As long as you are young, it's very easy to have that. But the older you get, the more this will become an issue, and it's not only just very uncomfortable to be constipated, but it's really also very unhealthy. And if you have it, it should be a major concern for you. Don't start, panicking or anything, but do something about it. And there's very simple things you can do against constipation. The main thing is in your diet to eat more fresh foods and more fresh vegetables, and especially also to eat fruits. If you eat one fruit with every meal, it's very difficult to get constipation. That's a very simple thing. And then another thing is actually this asana. Just like this. Sitting like this for 5 minutes before you go, and then normally it should go very easily. It's a very simple trick. Whenever it doesn't work, you sit like that 5 minutes, usually doesn't take much longer. Keep your back straight. And that is the optimal position for your body to prepare yourself to go to the loo. So yeah, going to the loo is very important. Yeah. Yeah.
What about water? If you're like a vata type and you don't drink a lot of water because you're mostly dry, how can you maintain the good circulation of this? Because you say going to the loo, but mostly if you go peeing like 5 or 6 times a day, I don't know which is the best way.
It's not a problem for water, to pass through. That is always very good. That is very cleansing. That is very healthy. And it is only because we live in a quite cold climate that we drink so little. If you compare to what people drink in hotter climates, it's like we drink maybe half a liter or something, which is really quite good for many people. Most people just drink coffee or something like that, which is really not water. It has water in it, but the system will react on it completely differently. While in most hot countries, people drink 3 liters a day easily. So, they sweat a lot more, so it's not a problem if it goes out, because that which the body requires, it will keep. No? That which the body requires, if there is not enough water in your intestines, the body will add to it, if it has it. But if you are dry, starting to crack, where is your body going to get the water? No? And then you get dryness there, and then it doesn't move. But we'll come to food actually in the other class. But in Indian dishes, always there is soup. Almost always there is soup, and soup is eaten together with everything else, so that one of the dishes is very liquid, and that the whole thing that goes inside from that is actually very liquid and very easily goes down. A lot of the food we are used to eating here, or most people are used to eating here, is really very dry, and that's not a good idea. So where was I? The asanas. Yeah. Anyway, that is something. Constipation, we will come back to it when we are talking about the home remedies, because there's quite a few very good Ayurvedic products there also to help. Because in Ayurveda it's a major concern, right, to not be constipated. Right. Let me just think if I forgot anything. No, I don't think so. Then the third part is about prana, tejas and ojas. Prana, tejas and ojas are not on the level of the physical body. They are on the level of the pranic body, of the energy body, of the body of your life force. Actually, prana, tejas and ojas, all three are prana. But prana is the life force as we inhale it, the energy that we take in through breath, which is not oxygen. Some may say it's maybe like negative ions in the air or something, whatever. It's a kind of energy which we absorb, that is the prana. And in our system, when there is enough prana, or even a little bit like a surplus of prana, it will be condensed into tejas. And from tejas it will further be condensed into ojas, and in ojas it will stay as our storage of life force. It's like our storage place, the ojas. And then whenever we need more prana for some reason, maybe for healing, for example, then this ojas again will be converted to tejas, and tejas again will convert to prana, and in that way the energy has a possibility to act. So prana, tejas, ojas are very important, because once you destroy that, once you are like using up all your ojas without making sure new ojas is being made, then you are in real trouble. Because then you are susceptible to any disease, whatever your body type is. Whatever, like, let's say, bacteria you will run into, it will, come to you like green flies will come to a dying animal. No? You will attract disease very easily. So that is very, very important also to understand. And ojas is seen in a person by an Ayurvedic doctor by the glow of the skin. The doctor can really see that in the luster, in the kind of little like shine of the skin. And so if you have a really shiny skin without using any kind of cosmetics, no? Then your ojas is in good shape. But if the skin is not very shiny, more like dull, then your ojas is down, and then the doctor will do as much as he can, which is relatively limited, to increase again your ojas. But then the recovery time will be long. You will be very weak for a long time. So then the question is how to keep the ojas sufficiently, no, in your system. But maybe let's first a little bit more explain what we need them for. And as you see here on the overview, these three are also very well known in Chinese medicine, where they are known as yin and yang and qi. Prana is qi, like it is also known very well in martial arts. They use this, no, for fighting. It is also very much known for healing. Qi healing is very well known. And then yang and yin are tejas and ojas. And so ojas provides our stamina, our endurance, our capacity to resist. Tejas gives this inner radiance. It's like a kind of fire, like pitta, but on a purely energetic level. No? So it's more like a light. Tejas is more like a light, your inner light, you could say. No? And then prana is quite simply the life force. So ojas will give you inner peace and patience. So it is not only important for your health, it's also important very much for your spiritual development. Ojas will ground you, ojas will give you peace, endurance, stamina. Tejas will give you willpower and courage. It is your inner fire, your inner power, you could say. It's the manifestation of the power of your soul. It is very, very important. And then the prana itself is essential to have the energy to do whatever and to be happy also. To be happy also requires prana. Prana will mostly affect your mind, while tejas will mostly affect your intellect. So basically, if your tejas is running out, you will become a little bit more stupid. And especially on the spiritual level also, your ability to understand certain things, to see certain things, not so much on the intellectual level of words and concepts and talks and all that, but to really feel, see from inside certain things will become impossible if your tejas is seriously damaged. Maybe whatever you have seen earlier, you will still be able to see it, but to learn anything new, you need the light that this tejas provides. It is through this light that you can see. So it is very, very important. So it is important for your health because without it, healing is impossible. It is important for your happiness and general spiritual growth because it's like the essence of you. You could say if you would like squeeze you, in a towel and just have one drop, which is the essence of you, then those three will be in it. It is really the interface between pure energy and the body. It is really like a very subtle kind of material, but which is very important for your survival and your spiritual growth, and actually also absolutely essential in meditation to reach Samadhi. Samadhi, for those who don't know, is like the very deep state of meditation in which you are no longer very much aware about what is around you. and you are completely absorbed in your meditation, up to the point even that you stop breathing. It is very well known that people in deep samadhi, they stop breathing, even heartbeat may stop, and so on. And so then the question is, how do they stay alive? Well, only through ojas. It is the reserve of ojas which is then going to produce tejas, and from tejas prana, and this prana will be used very economically to keep the system alive without breathing. So in that way, it is almost like absolutely essential to keep your health in good shape if you want to go into samadhi. So in that way, when I said very much in the beginning, not taking care of their health and thinking this is only a body idea and I don't care, this is becoming now much more clear. No? There is some real biochemistry energetically going on also, which must be taken care of, and for which a healthy body makes things at least a lot easier. No? Even the movement of kundalini up the spine is dependent on tejas. And whether you are doing kundalini yoga or not, this does not matter. Anyhow, in meditation, the kundalini has to rise, whether you do it consciously or not. And the amrita, which is here in the skull, which is often by Western science is compared to the cerebrospinal fluid. But okay, I don't know if it's that really, but anyhow, some very essential fluid which is there, the amrita, that is ojas. No? Or at least ojas is the source of it. So it's very clear for spirituality this is essential. So then what affects this system? No? How can you lose it and how can you gain it? Well, my teacher always said, 1 minute of anger will kill the result of 1 year of meditation. And that is what he meant. The fire of anger may be a great purifier in the sense of purifying some disagreement, no? Some energy build up in you and it burns and okay, you're rid of it. In that way, you should not, too much, you should not, suppress it. But this purifier is not very selective, and it burns off also a lot of tejas and ojas. So that is what he meant. Because meditation itself is one of the best ways to produce more tejas and then ojas out of prana. If your mind is still, then a lot of prana is not used. Actually, even according to Western science, 1/3, 1/4 up to 1/3 of the electric energy in our nerves is used by our brain. So that means a lot of the electric energy or pranic energy that we have is used by our thinking. Meditation means to stop thinking. If you stop thinking, you suddenly have a reserve of 30% or 25% of your prana, and that will convert to tejas and ojas. And then specific pranayamas also are very, very helpful to build tejas and ojas. And especially the pranayams where you are holding your breath. I think next week is pranayam class or something. We will talk about it. When you are holding your breath. And especially also if you can exhale very slowly after holding the breath. This is actually one of the best things to do for health and spiritual growth. To take a good breath. Hold it for some time, not too long, so that you don't start panicking inside. And then slowly breathe out. This is very, very good for building your ojas. So, negative emotions and anger in particular are very bad for it. Exhausting yourself in any way also is very bad for it. Going over your limit is very, very unhealthy. Because then you really are lacking life force. If you are tired, no, that is what it means. If you are tired, it does not mean that your body is running out of sugar, because then eating a little food, would solve the problem. What is your body lacking when you feel tired and sleepy? It is the life force. Because of all the activity, all the rajas, you have caused pain to your body. And actually pain is already a little bit of damage. No? If you do sports and afterwards you have pain in your muscles and you look with a microscope, then there's little tears in the muscle, little damage is there. But okay, very little. Your body can heal it very easily, provided it has prana. Prana is the great healer. So, if you are feeling tired, it's because your body requires so much prana for healing that there is no more available for running around. So please stop running around. Because otherwise your reserve of prana will become less and less, and you will become more and more susceptible to disease. If anybody could ever, make little jars or bottles of ojas, he'd be the richest man on the planet. Yeah, because it's like, the ultimate juice, the ultimate amrit. Amrit is also like the life elixir. So that is what you have, and you have to take proper care of it by not exhausting it and not exhausting yourself. And as I said, negative emotions are very bad, and you all also know that they are very exhausting. After you have been angry, or after you have been very worried or afraid, or whatever unhappy feeling, then you are very tired. You feel that. There's nothing, almost nothing so tiring as feeling bad. Right? It's very, very tiring. So that's also precisely why it is taking away your prana. Then food is of course also important, because the ojas actually is created from the essence of the food and then the prana that you take in through your breathing. So the essence of the food must also be of good quality, and so eating good quality food is important also to build ojas. But if you eat food, the ojas that is in that food, or the potential for ojas that is in that food, will take several weeks to actually be converted to ojas. It will first be converted to certain tissues, and from the tissues and the blood and everything, finally, whatever remains, the juice, the essence of it, will become ojas when combined with prana. So your food quality should also be good, because if your system is not getting enough vitamins and minerals and all these things that it is needing because of junk food, then also nothing will remain to build ojas. Ojas is like alchemy. It really needs very high quality elements to bind the prana to really make this kind of pranic reserve there. And another one, which is a major issue, is sex. Excessive sex will very rapidly reduce your ojas. If you are young, you have a lot of it, so okay, no problem. But the older you get, the more you should be aware of it, and especially if you feel that you are not very healthy, then you better cool it down, stay a little calm on that level. It is not for nothing that, like in sports, some coaches of soccer teams will say, no sex before the match, in the evening before the match. They know that. They know, not because they know Ayurveda, but because they know from practice that it really makes a difference to the energy that these players have. So it is important, and it is not a moralistic issue in any way, but one should know that everything which you do consumes energy, so you should not exhaust yourself. And ojas is very much present, especially for men. Actually, this is the issue, is very much present in the sperm, because to keep the sperm alive, a lot of ojas is added to it by the body, because it's like given the best of the best, no? To survive in, and in that way, too much loss there is a problem. And well, as I said, if you're young, no problem. But even today, because of internet, porn addictions, and all these things, we find young people, maybe 20 years old or something, they are already completely exhausted because of too much sex. So, nothing moralistic about it. Enjoy yourself, in whichever way you like, but bear the consequences and understand at least the consequences, and know at some point maybe it's time to stop, and first regain your health. And especially in old age, no problem to have sex in old age at all, but not several times a day, like you can't keep it up.